All right, so I'm gonna show how to do an edit using Photoshop, and then later you can skip through the video to the part where I show how to do it on Photopea if you're doing it for homework from home. So to edit a photo, you're gonna open it first, either right here by clicking open or up here along the top. Going to file, open. You're going to select your picture you want. I'm going to use this picture I took on one of my vacations for Shallow Depth of Field. And so I'm going to go ahead and get the crop tool, which is your fifth tool along the left-hand side. And then over here on the top where it says ratio, you want to make sure it's the top ratio and not something else that's selected. And then you're going to put 8.5 by 11. So if your picture is like mine, where you're cutting off all the good stuff, you're going to want to switch it or switch these little two arrows right here so that the 11 goes first so that you can still get the entirety of your picture. Unless this is the look you're going for and you don't want all that other information, or if your picture is taken vertically, like this crop would be. This is horizontal, this is vertical. So I'm going to switch it so that it's 11 by 8.5. And it's important to remember which one I did first, because I'm going to use that same number again in a minute. Here you can zoom in a little bit and move your crop within the photo to make it more interesting. So let's say I want to put it here. Or you could leave it where it's getting the entirety of the picture. But what you don't want to do is go on the outside. If you do this, it's going to add information to your photo, and I'm going to take points off because it doesn't look good. So don't do that. So I'm going to crop it here. And once I have it the way I want, I can either select this check mark right here or press the enter key or return key on my keyboard twice. Once I have it cropped the way I want, it's not completely cropped. So I'm going to go up here to the word image and then go to image size. In image size, you want to make sure that this is connected. See these two little lines that are going from the width to the height? You want to make sure they're linked. And I'm going to repeat the same numbers that I put before. So I'm going to put 11. And if it goes to 8.501, that's okay. It just can't go below the numbers we need. So we need 11 and we need 8.5. So it can't go to 8.499. That's too little. And it can't go to a 10.99. That's too small. You would want to change it. But these are good numbers. I'm going to leave the 01 for now. And then I'm going to have the 300 as the resolution and then click OK. It's still not fully cropped. I have to go back up to the word image again, then go to canvas size this time. And then this is where if it still had the 01, I would delete the 01, but it corrected itself. So this is where you want to make it exactly an 8.5 by 11 or an 11 by 8.5. And then press OK. Make sure you're always working in inches. If you accidentally didn't and it was in pixels, it will come out really small. So you'll want to press Command Z to go back and like fix that if you need to. But now it is fully cropped. So we're going to get out of the crop tool and go up here to the move tool. And we're going to right click on our background layer and duplicate the layer. That way, if anything happens with our edits, we don't have to start the cropping process all over again. So I'm going to press OK. I like to name my layer edits. It really doesn't matter what you name it. You can name it unique to the photo. Like if you wanted to name it like green grass, or I don't know, if you took a picture of like some bubbles, I don't know, whatever it is, you can title it that. I prefer to type edits and then press OK. Now there are two different ways you can edit. You can go up here to image adjustments, and then these top four right here will control your brightness and exposure overall. Either one is good to click in. Brightness and contrast is probably the most popular one that you could click in, and you can make small adjustments that help enhance your photo, like so, and then press OK. And then you could go up to image adjustments again. And then this next section right here, these all control the coloration of your photo. So if I wanted to turn it black and white, I could, and then make small adjustments to these specific sliders. I could do so, or you can go to image adjustments and adjust maybe the vibrancy of your image, making those greens really pop. Again, you just want to make subtle changes, not fully change the image to blue, orange, green, yellow. If I do see that, I will be upset and take it out on your grade. Like, we don't want any of this happening. It doesn't look good, I promise. Okay, or there is another way to do it. So I'm going to show that. You're going to right click your layer. After you have duplicated it, you're going to right click that top layer again. Oops. Hold on. I want that to come to this one. Convert to smart object. When you're in the smart object, you can go up here to the word filter and then go to camera raw filter. It's going to take you into another screen like this. And in this screen, you can make those same adjustments that you were making with the other previous way to edit. So you can adjust your exposure slightly if you want to. You can bump up the contrast a little bit to make those blacks pop a little bit more. You can adjust just the black so that it stands out a little bit more. You can adjust the shadows. You can take down those highlights, the whites. And again, I'm making very subtle changes so that it doesn't look so far different from my picture. It's just enhancing it. I can bump up the clarity so that those little spikes look much more spiky. I can dehaze the image in case there was like a little haze over it. And I can make adjustments to the vibrancy here like I did before. And then you can kind of play through these and see what you like, what you don't like. But again, a little goes a long way. You don't need to do too much. Please be careful with the effects that you're doing. Please, please, please don't do this. Make sure that, like, if you are going to use the option, it's very slight. And all this does is it could make it look slightly like you used a fisheye lens, if that's the effect you're going for, but like, we don't want to do this. That's taking away from what we created and not really enhancing our art, okay? So I'm gonna put it back to 0. You also wanna be careful with vignetting. You don't wanna do too much or too little, maybe like a happy medium, like something like that. If vignette is something you wanna add to your image, you definitely don't have to. You can put that back at 0. But you want to kind of play through these and see what kind of effects you do like. Then when you have it the way you want, you're going to press OK. It's going to take a second to load. And what you'll notice on the layers is that now I have the camera raw filter here. And if I wanted to, I could double click this and it will take me back into the edits that I previously made. If I click the basic one here, you can see these are all the changes that I made before. I can readjust them and take that down just a little bit if I thought maybe it was too much. I could also make it black and white here if I wanted to see what it would look like black and white. I could try that. And then if, let's say I really like this, I could press OK. And if I decide now, actually, you know what, I hate it. Again, you just double click in here and you can uncheck black and white and it'll still be the same edits you made before. That's kind of the safest way to make sure your edits are saved. So once you're done, you're going to go to File, Save As, save on your computer. If that doesn't pop up, that's okay. You want to give it a unique name. So like, for example, it says Wallace Taryn Shallow Depth of Field. That is a very unique name because that is the one and only depth of field picture I'm going to be doing. If I were doing multiple, I would suggest that you put a number 1 or number 2 or number 3, because if you put them into Google Drive, they will replace the other one, okay? So you also want to make sure you know where it's being saved to. And then the format should be this top Photoshop one right here. Then click Save, press OK if that pops up. And then immediately you're going to go back up to File, Export, Export As. And you want to make sure that the JPEG option is available right here where it says Format. If it's not, you're going to click it and make sure that it is a JPEG, and then click Export, and it's going to load for a second, and it's going to ask you if this is still the name you want. You should leave them named the same thing because you're just saving the PSD and now the JPEG. You also want to make sure you know where it's going, and then click save. I'm going to replace it because I've made edits to this one. And then once you're done with that, you're going to continue on with your other images, and you can go to File, Open, and open up your next set of photos. And that's how you edit in Photoshop. I'm going to not save it because I already saved it, but okay. So now, let me see. I'm going to share Google. You should upload them into a specific folder. So in my drive, I made a separate folder for creative control, and you should go to New, File, Upload, and upload both of your JPEG and your PSD. So click Open. Once it has the green check mark on both of these, then you know it's uploaded correctly, and it'll appear into your Google Drive. Now I'm going to show you how to edit that same photo in Photopea.com in case you were doing it from home or saving it for homework, whatever the case may be. This is the best alternative there is for Photoshop, and it does look a lot like Photoshop. So what you can do is go to the word File right here and then Open, or you can open from your computer. Your only problem with this format is that it does crash a lot, so it kind of is frustrating. You just want to make sure you save it in appropriate times. So hopefully it doesn't crash while I'm showing you. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll see your tools again, but this time the crop tool is the 4th tool down, and it's right here. And for your crop, what you're going to want to do is change it from the word free to fixed ratio, and you're going to want to put 11:8 because it doesn't allow you to do an actual like 0.5. It won't allow that. And in fact, I'm going to put a 10:8. So we're just going to remember that we're doing a 10:8. And again, you still want to stay like inside of the frame. You don't want to come out like this to add more to the picture. You want to stay inside. Once I have it like this, you want to select this part where it says delete cropped pixels. Then click the check mark. Now it's cropped. Now I can go to the word image, image size, change it from pixels to inches. And remember, I put a 10 first, so I'm going to put a 10. And it automatically changes it to an 8. And then I'm going to change the DPI to 300. However, if it keeps crashing on you at home, it's okay if you leave the DPI to 72. So I'm going to press OK. And then I'm going to go to image, canvas size, change it from pixels to inches. And this is where I would delete it if there was anything extra, but you typically don't have that problem when you do it on Photopea.com. So now I can get out of the crop tool because I've cropped my image. And now I can right click the background layer, duplicate that layer. And again, you can go up here to the word image, adjustments, and it's the same thing. These top 4 control your lighting. So if you wanted to use like brightness and contrast, it's here. You can make the adjustments just like you did in Photoshop. You can make slight adjustments to the contrast and press OK. Then go up to image, adjustments, and then here, these 7, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, these 7 control your coloration of the image, just like in Photoshop. So I can adjust the vibrancy in the image and bump up that green so that it looks really, really appealing. I don't really want you to mess with the saturation too much because it will make it look too drastic, but sometimes it looks really cool and sometimes it looks like an HDR photo. Other times you can also take out just a little bit and leave some green in there and make it slightly greenish and black and white. So this is actually kind of a fun tool to use sometimes. Just do whatever you're going to do in moderation. You just want to enhance your photo, not take away from it. So if you didn't want to do your edits that way, all I did was press Command Z and it took me back to the beginning of the way I was editing. I'm going to right click this layer and convert it to a smart object. You can still convert it to a smart object here in Photopea.com. And you're going to go here to filter, and you can go to camera raw filter in here. And again, it's going to take you into this other screen. It just doesn't give you nearly as many options of things to do as it does in Photoshop. And again, I don't want to see you turning your pictures like super green or super blue. That looks pretty actually right there. And you can adjust the contrast, the vibrancy, and the saturation. You could play through here and make adjustments, but if you're editing in Photopea, I really don't suggest you do it in this way with the camera raw. I suggest you do it one by one, image adjustments, and make your adjustments here. You can play through all these here and see what you like, what you don't like. But this is, again, just a good alternative to being in class. And you will save it the same way. You'll go to File. Save as PSD is already the option here, so you're going to click that. And again, you make sure it has a unique name and that you know where it's going, and you can click Save. I'm not going to because it already is on the computer. And then I'm going to go to File, Export As, and you can select right here, JPEG. So it's actually a little bit more user-friendly to save from Photopea.com. You do want the quality though to be at 100, and then ignore that this says pixels. It's already cropped the way that you had it, and you'll go ahead and click Save. Oops, I didn't mean to because I already have it. And then you can exit out of it and open up a new one, again, by either going to File, Open, or going to Open from Computer. And that's it. That's how you're going to edit. When you turn in your stuff on Google Classroom, please make sure you are uploading the JPEG and the PSDs. Alrighty.